Howdy, folks. It's your good friend Hillbilly Scribbs back with another episode of Hillbilly Scribbs' Truly Bizarre World. Now, those of you that have been paying attention know that this is a video series exclusive to the Feeding the Monster podcast YouTube channel. And what we do in this series is, I put on my thinking hat and roll up my sleeves and do my investigating research to find the answers to the questions that you didn't even know you needed answering or asking. Yeah. And we started a few weeks back, we started a series of videos looking for the answer to a very specific question. Now, I don't know if y'all been keeping up with the news, but like the biggest thing in the news right now, like really the biggest thing in the news is these critters have been invading our country. That's right. These wicked, vicious critters have been invading the American states of America, and these things are called murder hornets. That's right, folks. They are hornets, and they are murdering people. So we got to put a stop to that. Conventional methods I don't think are going to apply here. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to find a more natural, eco-friendly way to take care of these bugs. And I think our answer might lie in the cryptid world. There are a bunch of insect bug-like cryptids out there, and I think one of them might be the answer to the murder hornet problem. So I've been doing some digging around and some researching, and I think I found us another candidate. Episode 2, the Arkansas Snipe, aka the Skeetaroo. Now, as the name of this episode implies, we're going to be moving to the natural state, Arkansas, for this episode. And I got to tell you, folks, this is going to seem like a repeat of the last one because we're looking at skeeter monsters again. That's right. These are some skeeter monsters from Arkansas, sometimes called the Skeetaroo, sometimes called the Arkansas Snipe. And these things are no joke, folks. They are the real deal. Yep, that's right. This is another skeeter monster that we're going to be talking about today. Now, I did a lot of investigating research on this, and this thing actually sounds a lot like the critter that we talked about last time. Y'all remember the Galley nippers from Alvarez, Burrow, North Carolina? Now, this thing, though, was in Arkansas, and one of the first stories or reports that I was able to dig up on this thing comes from a lumberjack, and this was, I think it was in the 1800s, and this joker found 2 of these things eating his horse, and according to his testimony, they ate the whole horse, saddle and all, and when they were done, they spit out the horse shoes. Yeah, no joke. And that kind of brings us to the first big difference between this Skeetaroo and the Galley nipper. Now, as you know, the Galley nipper, all it has is it's a mosquito beak, right? It's got the sticker like a skeeter has, that it sucks the blood out. Well, this thing's got that, and it's got a mouth full of teeth. So, murder hornets, you better watch out. Now, the next story I found reported that these things not only enjoy horse meat, but they also get their protein from eating cows. And it says that they have been known to abduct and eat cows, and when they get done, they use the cow horns to pick their teeth. I told you they had a bunch of teeth. Now, the biggest story or report that I was able to dig up is an account of a salesman and his traveling companion, and it didn't mention the salesman's names, but the traveling companion's name was Daniel, and these guys stated that they were looking for some lost cows, and they followed the trail into a swampy area, okay? And as they were looking around, they kept hearing this cowbell being rung. So they followed the sound of the bell, and what they found was they found one of these big fat skeetaroos sitting on top of the cow it had taken, eating at it, and it was ringing the bell to lure in more cows. That's right. So these things are smart too. So as I said before, murder hornets, I think you might be about to be put on notice. Now, that's pretty much all that I found about as far as testimonies and stories of this thing. Now, this thing is also referred to as a snipe, or as the Arkansas snipe. And there's actually, a lot of people go snipe hunting in Arkansas for these things. So if you've ever heard of snipe hunting, this is where it comes from. And that's pretty much all I found out about this. But I don't know if y'all remember last time we talked about the potential connection between the Alvarez Burrow Galley nipper and my roommate Jeff. If not, that's okay. I'll recap. So one of the tales from our last episode involved this guy named Red Saunders. I know, the same last name as my roomie, right? Yeah. And this Red Saunders cat, he was supposed to be like the biggest, meanest, toughest lumberjack in the Carolinas at the time. And he's also the only known survivor of being bitten by a galley nipper. And a galley nipper is a giant mosquito monster. So I got to thinking, what if, y'all seen that Spider-Man movie where that kid, that Peter Parker kid, he gets bit by the spider and it transfers some of its spider powers to him? Well, I got to thinking, what if when this Red Saunders cat got bitten by the galley nipper, it transferred some of its skeeter powers to him? Makes sense. Well, you know what? My roommate Jeff, his family comes from Arkansas. So I got to thinking, there's not much, I couldn't find any information as far as like what happened to Red Saunders after his encounter with the galley nipper. All I could find out was that he survived, right? So I got to thinking, what if he moved to Arkansas? And what if, he, after getting bitten by the galley nipper, he became like some sort of like half mosquito, half man, half vampire hybrid? It's possible. And he maybe infected some things over in Arkansas, and maybe that's where this Skeetaroo came from. It is possible, And, it's also possible that maybe he transferred some of these skeeter powers through his DNA into his offspring. And maybe there's like some crazy, wicked vampire mosquito monster powers in the Saunders family. My roommate Jeff, he claims to have a night job at a hospital. I don't ever see him at work. He just leaves after it gets dark. That sounds an awful lot like a vampire. I'm gonna keep looking into this, and we'll see what we find out. But I do think that this Skeetaroo, or if you want to call it the Arkansas Snipe, might actually be a pretty good foil for them there murder hornets. But I'm gonna keep on doing my investigating research and sharing it with you. I think there's a few more candidates out there, so be on the lookout for our next video, and we will see what else we might be able to throw at these murder hornets. Now, if you've got a story or a topic idea for the truly bizarre world, the best thing to do is to download the Anchor app onto your mobile device. And you can go on there and look up the Feeding the Monster podcast feed and leave us a voice message. And, it's just like making a phone call and leaving a message, except for you only got a minute to do it. And you know what? That's actually a good thing, because it keeps the super secret government agencies from tracking your calls. Yeah, that's right. And you can also leave suggestions for future episode topics right down there in the comments. So do that. Give us some ideas. We've got, I think there's going to be like maybe 2 or 3 more episodes in this series, and then I'm going to start doing some investigating research based on your suggestions. So Don't be shy. But that's about all for this week. We'll have another one of these probably later this week or next week. And, until then, you folks keep it real, keep it weird, and keep it glorious, guys.